So Justin, we went to a sweet Double Fine event last night, and they were showing off some games that actually are going to be unveiled at PAX this year. They showed off Costume Quest and Massive Chalice and a bunch of Double Fine Presents games. So what'd you think about everything?
There were no surprises. These were all things that had been announced previously, but things that I'm excited about nonetheless. I'm actually wearing one of my Double Fine Adventure shirts, which maybe isn't the best thing to wear to something like this, but I'm a big supporter of Double Fine in the games that they do. I'm a backer of Massive Chalice, and as soon as they talked about Costume Quest, I was totally on board. Like, having a sequel to one of what was, for me, a really highly anticipated, super fun, super cute game, I was 100% on board just as soon as they said Costume Quest 2.
Yeah, they've been talking about this for a while now, and they've been super excited about saying, it's going to be what everyone loves, more Costume Quest. They're not mixing it up too much, but they've made some updates to it. One of the big things is new costumes, which everyone's pretty psyched about.
Yeah, I feel like there's not really a whole lot that you have to do to have changed. I mean, there was not a perfect game by any stretch, but it was really solid for what it was. And the only thing that you'd really want more out of are different costumes and different ways to play the game. And so some of the cooler things we got to play with were a pterodactyl, which is that's a ridiculous costume in itself, and you're just this flying dinosaur. And we got to, every costume has an attack, like a special attack that's pretty easy to build up, but otherwise the combat itself is very similar to something like Super Mario RPG. But the costumes themselves are a whole lot of fun. I think now they have Thomas Jefferson as a character. There's a superhero, and they also have gender changes for each of the characters.
I heard that. So now you can actually, before in the first game, if you were a robot, you were just a robot. Whereas now you can be a female robot or you could be a dude robot. They're really opening it up for your imagination. Another cool thing that they added was before you needed a particular costume to be able to jet around, and now any costume can jet. So now you can kind of scale the map much more quickly and efficiently.
Yeah, it's the only thing that I was a little bit worried about before I actually got to play it was what the story is going to be about. Because Costume Quest 2 is just about saving Halloween. How do you go back to this? And Grubbins on Ice was left a little bit of on a cliffhanger. This time there's an evil dentist who's coming around trying to steal the world's candy and get rid of Halloween, and it leads you into this post-apocalyptic world where there is no Halloween and everything is horrible, and you have to go back in time to save Halloween and get rid of the dentist minions and spread candy to the children of the world.
It's really a pure story because everyone hates dentists, and now we can just kind of combine together and take them down.
And without candy, there would be nothing but a post-apocalyptic world.
Another thing that was at the Double Fine event was Massive Chalice, which people have been really kind of hyped about. And we were talking about this a little before. It's interesting, they were showing off like a good 10-minute demo there, but unfortunately that kind of game really is incredibly deep, and there's really not that much you can see in a short 10-minute demo. And I think they're banking on the assumption that when people are playing this, that they have some kind of XCOM reference. Anyone who's ever played XCOM typically loves that style of game, and they'll immediately pick up on the controls. It's incredibly similar. You're playing this turn-based style where you're clicking how far of the distance. If you click a particular distance, then you get another action, whether it be some kind of fighting move. They have people who can do AoE. They have people who have potions, so those are more healer types. But as you said, Massive Chalice adds this extra component to it. So in XCOM, you'd always get worried that you would lose somebody that you loved during battle. You probably named them as your friend, and then you're super bummed when they die. Well, Massive Chalice is a little bit more morbid because it takes place over lengthy amounts of time, years and years, generations. And so everyone you play will essentially die. What you're actually doing is you're trying to combine two people and make children out of them and get these amazing heroes through the generations. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see where they go with it. After my very short demo, I was just really excited to see and play more. And I think you're absolutely right. It's going to take way more than a 10-minute demo for me to understand this game.
It is not a Double Fine game at all. Like, when you look at it, I feel like I think about Double Fine as being kind of cute and very funny, and Massive Chalice is not like that at all.
Yeah, when I think of Double Fine, I think story-driven. I think something that has amazing characters that you can't get enough of. And Massive Chalice is not that. I think you make your own story, and the characters are what you create. I think you will still get that wonderful attachment to characters, similar like you do in those style of games, but it's quite different than a Double Fine game that we're probably familiar with. So I guess we'll have to see where they go with it. And I'm looking forward to seeing, especially Massive Chalice. I'm very curious to see where they go from here.
And everyone who comes to PAX gets to try it out themselves. So that's double cool for everybody else.
Yeah, absolutely.
Double cool on Double Fine.
Double cool, double fine. Sweet. Thanks, Justin.
Thank you.